Do you know and use these 10 graphic design tips? The world we live in is dominated by images and visual platforms, and it only seems like it's becoming more oversaturated by the day. This is why design is so important, especially for small businesses as they compete with larger, more well-known brands. Good design is essential in today's competitive landscape. When you own a small business, it's understandable that you may not have the budget to hire a professional graphic designer. But that doesn't mean you can't try it on your own. I'm Noel with Jotform, and in today's video we'll discuss 10 graphic design tips that'll have a lasting impact on your brand. Let's go. Our first tip is knowing your design's objective. To get something accomplished, you have to know where you're heading. Objectives help you structure your project and validate its success. Think about why you're creating a particular design. What's the objective that you're trying to achieve with this particular design? Some examples of design objectives are increasing sales or raising brand awareness. The key is to get clear about your objective from the very start so you can then come up with the best design possible. The second design tip is harnessing the power of colors. That might seem a little out there, but it's true that colors have the power to set a mood, make or break a design, and influence the emotions or perceptions of your audience. In fact, 90% of individuals have said that they make subconscious judgments based on the colors of products. If your company uses specific brand colors, use them. It's okay if you don't have any brand colors either. Just use any color that matches or communicates your brand's message. Take the color green, for example. This color is used to signify health, new beginnings, growth, nature, and wealth. Understand what colors mean to your audience and use that to your advantage. Next up, be consistent with your fonts. Much like colors, fonts also play a pretty important role in your design projects. A not-so-great font is enough to turn potential customers away. You may want to use fonts that are easy to read and also reflect the personality of your brand. After you've chosen a great font, stick with it. Font consistency can help your target audience recognize you. With colors, there's a bit more freedom to the number of colors you can choose for your designs. With fonts, though, it's a best practice to stick to a maximum of 2. Here's our next tip. Make friends with white space. White space, also known as negative space, is anything but negative. This area between your content and images is really important. It's more than just an empty space. It can be any color, pattern, texture, or background image. When we think of white space, we think of 2 categories: active white space and passive white space. Active white space is intentional and helps your viewer focus on the content area. It provides some needed structure to your design. Passive white space is the default space between letters and lines of text that helps make it readable. Another way to boost your graphic design is to take inspiration from successful companies. Look at Nike, Apple, and Starbucks. These are all massively successful companies, and sure, their products and services are great, but they also have consistent and effective branding. Their logos are iconic. They're consistent with designs, colors, and fonts, and each appropriately reflects their company's history, values, products, and services. Before you start in on your own original design, take some time to see what you admire about other companies and what they're doing right. How can you also create a meaningful design? Think about design not just being what it looks and feels like, but how it works. Are you telling your company's story with your design? Let's think back roughly 2.5 million years ago. Cavemen were drawing icons on the walls in their caves in order to tell stories and communication. Flash forward to today, and our society is still using icons to help us better understand and interpret information. Using icons in your design not only grabs the attention of your viewers, but it also helps them to better understand your page, post, or offer. Here are 5 tips for infusing icons into your design. First, understand the set of icons you need to create. Then, think of the best metaphors and brainstorm about symbols that can portray them. Perhaps someone is already using a better version of the icon you came up with, so it's important to do your research and see what's already out there. Next, choose the style of your icons and put them to the test. Much like fashion trends, design trends also seem to come and go, and you don't want to be wearing skinny jeans when wide leg jeans are in. Keeping an eye on design trends is important. Search the internet and read design articles that discuss the current and future trends. Design Hill, a custom logo design website, has an in-depth blog that discusses all of the latest trends, ideas, and tips for designing. Great designs are often simple designs. That's why our next tip is to keep it simple. And when we say simple, we don't mean plain. Simplicity is creating something without extravagant elements. The popular brands we mentioned before, Nike, Apple, and Starbucks, each have clean, simple, and meaningful logos. Keeping your design simple will yield the best results. A simple design will stick with your audience longer and will be more easily recognizable over time. The way to a long-lasting impression on your target audience is with a simple design. We're ruled by technology, not iRobot style, yet. But technology does play a huge part in our day-to-day lives, from self-driving cars to 3D printing to gene editing. On top of all that, technology continues to change and improve at the speed of light. As far as the design industry goes, one major technological evolution is AI-powered design tools like logo maker tools, email signature tools, and custom t-shirt design tools. Whether you're a designer or not, these helpful online tools are made for you. You can create professional graphic designs for your business in a matter of minutes. Creative and impressive graphic design is accessible to all thanks to technology. Our last and perhaps most important graphic design tip is to be creative. That's not a particularly groundbreaking tip, but it's absolutely worth mentioning. You may think some people just have the gift of creativity, but the fact is, everyone is creative. You just have to figure out how. Your creative design efforts combined with these 10 tips will help you elevate, emphasize, and promote your brand personality like never before. Even if creativity isn't your natural forte, or you haven't designed anything in your life, you can still create something amazing. Just invest the necessary time to make your design, and you can show your customers what your brand means to you. After all, no one else knows more about your business goals, objectives, and the message you want to convey to your audience better than you do. Off you go to create some amazing designs. Remember to have fun and experiment while coming up with your innovative ideas. Graphic design and creativity are all about experimentation and exploration, after all. Let's do a quick review. Here are 10 graphic design tips that'll have a lasting impact on your brand. First, know your brand's objective. Second, try to use your brand colors. Third, be consistent with your fonts and limit yourself to 2 types only. Fourth, use white space to your advantage. Fifth, look to successful companies for inspiration. Sixth, use icons to support your content. Seventh, stay on top of design trends. Eighth, keep it simple. Ninth, use tools to make your designs come to life. And last but not least, 10th, be creative. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'm Noel with Jotform. See you next time.